Thank you for staying with us right here on World Today on TVRI World. Let's continue again with the latest headlines. The blend of technology and ecology conservations continue to become a focus in major developed countries, where developing economies are following in a similar track. The city of Wuhan, China, has made numerous advancements in these sectors. Rahmat Idris brings us the report from Wuhan, China.
Yeah, hi there. We're here downtown, the city of Wuhan, China, where if you ask people a little over 5 years ago, the name of the city of Wuhan would automatically remind you of something else truly detrimental to humankind. But this is something that the government of Wuhan has been trying to overturn, this particular paradigm, and inviting global communities back into the city. And just a little while ago, a program called China Walk, Discover Wuhan was initiated by the government of Wuhan in cooperation with China Media Group. And this particular program is aimed towards inviting the global populations back into China, in particular to the city of culture, history, and technological advancements of Wuhan. And the inaugural ceremony of China Walk Discover Wuhan was attended by a number of dignitaries from a number of invited countries, and just to name a few, Indonesia, Turkey from our European counterparts, and also a number of East Asian countries, which includes Cambodia, Thailand, and also Laos PDR.
If we again learn about China's economy, one of their advantage is the sustainability of policy, the continuation. Yeah, that's important because they have eradicated absolute poverty around, I think, 700 million from absolute poverty in just 15 to 20 years. That is quite an achievement.
Success story.
Yes, we have to acknowledge that. So we as a big country too are learning from that.
Yeah.
So when the continuity, sustainability of policy is important, I think the presence, the visit of President Prabowo to China is also signaling that he is continuing the already good relations, what we call since 2013 the comprehensive strategic partners. It will continue from President Joko Widodo to President Prabowo. That's important for China to see. And of course, we have a high target of 5%, 6%, 7%, and 8% up to 2028.
High targets,
It's only reasonable if we have to look to a country or economy which has the
that
positive
can bring in money
and has the positive growth.
Is one of the highest FDI coming into our country.
It has still registering 5% growth with 1.4 billion people. That's not easy task. It's quite an achievement. So we have to look where the growth is there.
And at particular occasions, the government of Wuhan has said that this is an opportunity to further introduce all the potentials of the city, particularly all the strides that they have made in the sector of ecology conservations and also technology and public transportations. And now let's deep dive into the ecology aspect of the city first, because as far as we're concerned, the government of Wuhan and overall China, the technological advancement in ecology has been superb. We began our journey by visiting and walking through the trails of history of the so-called monument or structure rather called the Yellow Crane Tower, dating back to the year 200 AD. Which was then going through a number of dynasties all the way to the 1980s when it was rebuilt, and right now it is known as one of the highest towers there is, reflecting some of the deep-rooted cultures and traditions of the Chinese people. And it is true indeed that through the visit we can see a portrayal of China as one of the oldest cradles of civilizations on earth. And next up, we were taken to a so-called site called East Lake, where we not only get to see one of the largest lotus gardens ever, but more importantly, it serves as a platform, an opportunity for local ecosystems and wildlife not only to survive, but to thrive within the massive area. And we also took our time to visit the Hydrobiology Institute of Wuhan, where one and the only place to conserve a very very critically endangered and near extinct species of the Yangtze finless porpoise, or commonly known as white dolphin or river dolphin, is being conserved. And in the span of 10 years alone, the scientists and researchers over at the institute has managed to double the population of the river dolphins, nearing 100%. That was quite a feat, quite an achievement. And moving on to the technology aspect of Wuhan, this is something that the local government is truly proud of, and something that they said is reflected within the name of Wuhan. They have the U as university and the H as high tech. One of the most prominent visits was the so-called photon sky train, where we get to hang out literally on a suspended monorail going through, stretching across 10.5 kilometers away, providing easy, convenient and green transportation options and means for the local people. This is something that the communities, the governments has been striving for, public transportations that is adhering to a greener planet. We also took time to visit its optics, or rather fiber valley, where the so-called YOFC exists. And that is, simply put, one of the largest manufacturers of performs and fiber optics cables that have reached many countries around the world, including Indonesia. And from there, we get to hear their sole and noble goal, essentially, to bridge the gap of technological divide in the world. As we know, still 1/3 of global population is still not connected, and that's the fiber optics of YOFC is striving to achieve just that, and also abiding by the green protocols to ensure that all the operations is keeping the green aspect in mind. And just later on in the day today, we had the opportunity to take part and have an on-hand experience by ourselves, the so-called electric vehicles of Voya, and also the driverless autos here in the so-called Auto Valley of Wuhan. And that was just simply an amazing experience. And that is a business on behalf of the city of Wuhan that has penetrated over 40 auto and electric vehicles markets around the globe. 4 days ago in Dubai, and hopefully next year, from what we've heard, is going to approach Indonesian market as well. And one in particular I'd like to highlight also was our visit to the ecological sites of the formerly limestone mining sites, which is something that Indonesia can truly relate to. As we know, in the land of Borneo, we have plenty of leftover mining sites that can be turned into simply put, theme park, amusement parks, and Indonesia has a lot to learn from the success stories that China has managed to achieve. And nearing the end of our journey here in Wuhan, it is true indeed all the things that President Xi Jinping of China has been saying over and many times and again, that not one country should be left behind in order for other countries to prosper. And we hope by the time that we are going forward with the 75 years of diplomacy between Indonesia and China, we are going through the right path at the moment. And that concludes our report here from Wuhan, China. Rahmat Idris and Bayu Anggara for TVRI World.
There was Rahmat Idris reporting from Wuhan.